Hello. So I think I know what we need to do next. We need some improvements on this page. We need to add some functionality, and I think this current UI is not going to cut it for us. So I think we need to add a table, mat table, to display this data. So instead of doing what we're doing here, we're going to use mat table. It'll have columns of table name. It'll have a column for batches, which will have these numbers in that column. It'll also be selectable like this table here on the preview page. And the reason why we need to add that is there's two objectives we're trying to accomplish, two features we're trying to add. We want the ability to toggle whether or not you're going to sync these in, and so we're going to accomplish that with these selectable options here. And then if you just unselect it, when you hit start, it should only sync in the ones that are selected. So there will be a column called status, and that will start out blank because we haven't started syncing any of them. And whenever we start to sync, that column is where we're going to display the message. So that'll say, syncing batch 1 of 1, batch 1 complete, syncing batch 2 of 2, batch 2 complete. It'll have a column for the checkbox that'll say complete, and then that checkbox should appear if it's complete. And then the other feature we're trying to add is the ability to change the order that they sync, because the order may actually matter, especially because of some foreign key requirements. Like you can't sync in data that has a foreign key reference to another object unless you have already created that object. So we need to be able to change the order. So the way that I was thinking of changing the order is to make a column, two columns actually. One column will contain this icon and one column will contain this icon, unless it's the very bottom row and then it won't have this icon, or the very top row and then it won't have this icon. And so if you want to change the order, you could just come over here and click the button, and that should move it down in the array. So if you want to move something from the top all the way to the bottom, you would come to the top and you would just click down, and then you go to it, click down, down, down until it gets all the way to the bottom. If you have a better way, maybe there's some drag and drop possibilities. I don't really like to figure out drag and drop. Ultimately, we just need to be able to change the order, and it needs to look decent. We don't have to do drag and drop. If you happen to know how to do drag to change the order, drag would be cool, but it's definitely not a requirement. These little circles would work perfectly fine to change the order of the array. So we want to move this page here to a table, and we want to do that to accomplish two things. We want to be able to select which ones we're going to sync in, just like we're doing here. We can select all of them, select none of them, or select individuals. And the second thing is we want to be able to change the order. Now we want to display the table name, the number of batches, and then the status column, which is where we're going to display our message. The complete column should display a check mark whenever it's complete. Now we're going to have to change a few things. Like for example, the start button is going to move outside of the table. So you can put that at the top, at the bottom. It doesn't matter to me where the start button goes. And then also the error messages. So currently we display the error messages in line, underneath one of these rows, but I don't think that will be possible if we move to a table. So we probably just need to create some error container at the top, and it won't have anything in it unless one of these objects throws an error, and then we'll push the errors here, and that little complete column, instead of a checkbox, it should have some sort of a error indicator, and that should stop the process. We don't continue syncing after an error. So that way, if there's an error, we can see which one of these tables threw the error, and it'll have some indicator in the table itself, and then the error messages could be visible on the page. So that I think will accomplish our goals of making this functionality more robust, giving it the ability to select individual tables to sync and reorder, and we'll have to move around the start button and the error messages. All right, that's it. So I'll send this out now. Suman, I think that you can go ahead and take charge on this feature. And if you have any questions, just ask me or Z, and we'll help. All right, thanks. Bye.